Welcome back to day 23 of the Digital Clean Sweep. Today we're tackling something that quietly piles up all year long: professional development notes, your PD brain dump. If you've ever attended a great session, scribbled something brilliant down, and then never saw it again, you're not alone. Today we're going to change that. PD is meant to help us grow, but it only helps if we can access what we learned later. This isn't about logging the hours, it's about making the wisdom you've collected usable and searchable. Whether your notes are handwritten, typed, saved in a random Google Doc, or scattered across your downloads folder, today we're going to gather and organize them in a way that works for you. Tracking down all of those notes is probably going to be the trickiest thing that we do during this task. So let's go ahead and start to think about the places where we might find those notes. For me, one place is on my phone in my photos. I'm notorious for taking pictures of the screen and then just keeping them in my photo roll. So I'm going to want to find photos like this one and put it somewhere specific. So while I'm looking at this picture, I'm going to go ahead and put it where I know it actually belongs. So I am going to tap this share or export choice, and I'm going to go to my drive. And I'm going to export to my Google Drive. And I want to make sure it goes in a specific folder. So I'm going to find the folder I labeled Professional Development. And you'll see here that I have a folder system that I've already created. One for professional development that I've facilitated and another for the ones that I attend. So this is something I attended this past year. And I can save my image here, and I just have to tap upload. So it takes a few steps to do it, but now that file is there, and I can technically just delete it from my phone. I don't need it on my phone anymore. So that's one place to look. Another place that I'm going to scan is in my Rocket notebooks. I don't know if you use Rocket Notebook or a different version. The Rocket notebooks were all the rage for a while. Maybe they still are, but they were a tool where you could actually scan the page. So anything I wrote here, I could then upload to a very specific place with a quick scan of my phone. So I'm just going to look through, I'm just going to flip and look and see if there's any professional development notes, because then after you scan them in with this notebook, I could erase them. This one works with the microwave, and I just would put the mug of water here and it would erase it for me. And so it looks like I've scanned everything from that notebook. Let me see about this one. Okay, so I do have some things in this one, but they're not professional development notes, but they are things that I should scan. So I'll just put this off to the side and I'll work on that later. Another place you might keep notes is in an app, like the Notes app or a Good Notes app on an iPad. And I do have a lot of those. So if I want to move those into my PD folder, I could do that now also. So I'm going to take a quick look there. All right, so this is a notebook in Good Notes, and I actually just attended some professional development this past month, and I've got several pages of handwritten notes and combined with some screenshots that I took of my computer screen because it was a virtual training, and I know that there's a number of pages. Let's see, I'm going to let's see, it's pages 41 all the way through basically 54. So I'm going to, in my GoodNotes app, select the edit, and then I can select all of those. And I can export these with the export button, and I can do it as one solid PDF. And it's going to process that, and then I'm going to tell it where I want it to go, and again I'm going to put it in that same Google Drive folder. So go to my Drive and make sure I select the folder, my professional development, attended, and it was this past year, so save here, and I'm going to upload that, and then I'm going to go into my Drive from my computer next, and I'm going to just do a little bit of renaming before I get too far with these files. I want to make sure that I have logical names for these files so that I can remember what they're all about when I come back to look at them again. If you're a little more old school, that's fine. You could take your paper notebook PD notes and you could scan them in by taking a photo of them to digitize them and have them. That way you don't have notebook after notebook that you're trying to flip through, and it just becomes a little more searchable as we give names to those files. So in my Drive, remember, I've created a folder for professional development, some that I've attended, some that I've facilitated, and I'm focused on the ones I've attended today. I'm also focusing really on this past year. If I happen across something older than this past year, I'll put it in a folder I labeled pre-2024. But I want to make sure that I rename these files right now. So this one was, where's my naming? Okay, rename. Sorry, had to think about that a minute. So this was at NC Ties, and it was from the AI keynote. So I'm going to label that, and then this one that I just made the PDF of was from the Blended Learning Refresh with Catlin Tucker. Okay, and so by labeling those in some way, whatever works for you, it'll help you to remember what information was in there. One more place I'm going to look for PD is in the Shared With Me section of my Drive. I want to find anything modified in the past year, so all of 2024. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to type PD in my search field, because a lot of things are going to have the PD along with it. So I'm not worried about these folders, but I'm also wanting to make sure, let me make sure that the date range took. It doesn't seem like it did. There we go. Okay, so here are some system-wide for our district PDs, a PD I took with a math teacher, small group and stations PD. So what I can do is I can click here on the three dots, and I can organize these. Now, this is not going to move from Shared With Me, but it's going to add a shortcut wherever I want it. And where I want it is in my PD folder, so I can find it easier. I want it in the PD that I attended, and I'm going to put it in the 2024-2025 folder, because that's where it basically took place. So I can go through and search everything that came up here and look for any that I want to have shortcuts to inside of my folder in my Drive. So remember, it's all about just organizing. So you can see the little arrow on this shows that it's not really in this folder. It's just a shortcut to where it actually is, which can be really handy. If you're like me and you tend to get carried away with the daily task, make sure to set a timer and walk away when you've spent the time you allotted for this task. When you have time later on, you can always set another timer and spend a few more minutes on this task. PD is one of those things we mean to come back to, but unless it's easy to find, it slips away. So today is about setting yourself up with a system to be able to find those golden nuggets of wisdom when you need them, even if that's months from now. You've done the hard part by attending and taking notes, so let's give those notes a home. I'll see you tomorrow for day 24.